My APA research paper is over InSite, a Canadian injection location in Vancouver, Canada. InSite is in fact a location where heroin addicts and meth addicts and addicts of other hard drugs can go and inject themselves and get high without really any fear of being arrested. And many people are in extreme controversy over whether or not this is a good thing or a bad thing, a progressive thinking measure or a horrible failure. Now, I should probably explain right now that InSite does not supply people with drugs. They require, if you are going to use our facilities, you will bring your own drugs, and there is no dealing within the location, and there's no dealing on the streets outside of the location. Many of the huge drug runners respect the fact that InSite is there, not as a place to deal drugs, but as a place to only use drugs. Now, the controversy around InSite is really whether or not, as I said before, this is a good thing or a bad thing, and if it should be shut down, or should it really be allowed to expand outside of Vancouver, expand outside of Canada, and hopefully maybe one day expand worldwide. There are several reasons that people are using saying that InSite should be expanded, and one of those is the fact that HIV rates have gone down in Vancouver. Vancouver was once listed one of the highest towns in which HIV was so rampant. And obviously, HIV is spread through different means. One of the means is using of a dirty needle. If someone goes and they use drugs and they have HIV, and someone comes behind them and uses drugs and uses that same needle, there is a significant possibility, really, that they will get HIV. And since InSite has been open, those rates have gone down. InSite provides fresh, clean needles so that no two users use the same needle and no user uses the same needle twice. But not only have HIV rates gone down, but overdose rates have gone down as well. InSite is run by professionals such as registered nurses and other healthcare providers, and when someone slips into an overdose, they pull them out of it almost immediately. As soon as they see it, then they save that person through whatever medical means might need provided. They are there to provide those needs. Now, these professionals also show safe veins that the users can inject themselves into, but because they are healthcare professionals and they have taken an oath to not hurt anyone, they refuse to inject that person. They just show them, hey, you can use this vein. This vein isn't collapsed. This vein hasn't been used too much. This vein is safe for you to shoot into. But they will not actually shoot the drugs for the user. Now, these professionals at InSite have never lost anyone to an overdose. InSite has been open for over 10 years. It's actually, I believe, has been open since 2003, and no one has died in InSite. No one has injected too much and thrown themselves into an overdose, thrown themselves into cardiac arrest, thrown themselves into anything through their drugs and have died, because they are saved by the registered nurses and other professionals there. Now, counseling is also available in InSite. It's a 2 or 3 story building, and the first floor is the injection site where you go and you inject yourselves, and then once your high is gone and you're able to walk, you can walk out. No problem. They don't stop you, they don't call the police, they don't do anything. Well, the second floor is full of rooms where you can stay if you decide, I don't want to do this anymore, I want to get clean. You can go up there and you can stay in these rooms and detox your body until the drugs are flushed from your system and you don't have anything else flowing through you. And you can get off of the withdrawal symptoms and all of that. And then there's also counseling available to help you stay clean, to help you find jobs, to help you really integrate yourself back into society. InSite has also been shown to be extremely cost effective. Now, InSite is not government funded because obviously injecting yourself with heroin is not legal, not even in Canada. So it's completely based on donations. And obviously InSite is an extremely expensive endeavor. Not only are there the basic bills such as electricity, water, gas, all of that every homeowner has to pay, but there's also the fresh needles that they give to anybody, the fresh bandages that they use, the fresh gauze that they use, whatever drugs or anything obviously not illegal drugs, but pain medication and other such things like that they help people with, that's obviously going to cost a whole lot of money. And when you take that by itself, then it's not cost effective. It's just spreading out all this money that doesn't need to be spread out. However, when you set it against how much money it takes to really control the HIV within a person's body, it is a lot more cost effective. Now, InSite has, as I said before, it has brought the HIV rates down, which means less people are living with HIV in Vancouver. HIV is an extremely costly disease. It doesn't go away, it's not curable, and you have to take medications for it, and every few years, medications have to change because your body begins to grow immune to it, and HIV begins to grow immune to it. So, after all of the hospital bills, all the medication, all of the doctor's visits, all of the blood work, all of everything, it is significantly more expensive to live with HIV than it is to keep InSite open. And so, in the end, InSite is extremely cost effective based on what can happen if someone does contract an STD or an STI or any of that sort of thing. So, the controversy around InSite can be argued either way, but in the end, many people believe that InSite should be expanded, and that's really all of my paper is about, is whether or not InSite is progressive thinking or is a failure of judgment.